Welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy channel. As usual, I'm Barnzy. This time with a real talk review with the latest Belmo collab, The Journey. This one is a 252 053 diff symmetrical ball, so medium RG, pretty big differential. It's going to flare quite a bit. It's got Pearl version of TX16, and if you know, you know, that's the Phase 2 cover. So, but a Pearl version, I've decided to go with a lower pin with this one. Kind of like one of my favorite shiny Phase 2 balls. So this is 4.5 by 1 by 4. And let's get on the lanes and see what this one looks like. Back here at AMF Louisville lanes. Brand new SPL surface. So that's the ones with the texture on them. It's a month and a half old now. Still pretty new. Got a little more friction in the front than they used to. And for a while they hook a little more off the gutter. They're not peeling off of it these days, so it's really not a bad place to do a ball review because we don't have super wet dry. It's not like 20 to 1 or something crazy like that. So you can see there's a little early friction out there, but it's not ricocheting off of it. The core numbers are probably closest to an Xponent, so we're going to test against that later. I also brought a Phase 2, but it's going to be a higher pin version of that. And I brought my Zen Gold. So we're going to look at all three of those up against this ball once we get done with this game. Too firm. Got a little carried away. In general, it already looks cleaner than, say, the Trend 2 or some of those other Belmo balls in there. I do think already that this one has a pretty good chance to be a ball he's going to like a lot. Last one was just firm on my end, so. Well, just move around a little bit. I'll take my hand out of it, move a little right. So this is about 7-8 bore move. That was pretty far left, but little skeet shooting out there. We'll try it again. We'll get a little further right so you can see kind of what's going on maybe. Hold off of it okay, pretty predictable. Lower pin drilling may not be the right thing if you're a lower rev rate player / speed dominant. Might want to go with a higher pin. One of the things that's always made the TX16 cover so great is it has a really long continuation window, and that's what allows you to drill a lower pin. But if you're someone that needs a little more angle than that, that may not be the best play for you. So I'm going to move back left. I'm going to go ahead and add a little rotation this time. And moved him around a little bit. Now I'll get slower and we'll get in the middle of the lane. And middle lane's a little bit flat for a house shot, I guess, but we'll see if it is able to continue around the corner or not. It's a pretty ball. It has some of the same colors as the Xponent, but being pearl, and it's got a little purple in it, and the teal's a little brighter. So all those kind of play into this one being pretty. Go 5 more left. Like I said, long continuation windows. So Pretty smooth, pretty predictable, but plenty of, you know, enough back end to play wherever you need to play. A pin-up drilling, I think, would put it in between. It still would be earlier than a Zen Gold, but we'll look at that here in a little bit. Kind of back to my base where we started at. Get a little feel for it now, and it's coming off the lane, half of it pretty good. Say, you know, you got a lot of polish on there, which is great for a lot of surfaces these days. Most of them aren't getting newer, and the ones that are, like this one, SPL, has a lot of friction in the front. So certainly, if you're a player that's a little bit rev dominant or struggles to get the ball in the lane, this polish with some guts behind it surely can't help. Just throw in firm and see what it looks like. Had no problem picking up. So, it's at 252, that little higher RG, that probably gives you maybe an extra foot and a half on its own over a normal Phaze 2. Then you add the pearl, then you add the polish, so 2 to 3 feet maybe total. Cover stock still pretty strong. There's a little rotation. Oh, that was almost a two-handed one. And we'll just clean this one up. So, 247. That's our first game with that. We're going to come back and we're going to show you the Xponent, the Phaze 2, and the Zen Gold and see how they compare to this latest Belmos collab, the Journey. First ball we're going to compare this to is the old trusty, the Phaze 2. It is a pin up versus a pin down, but let's see what this one looks like on the lane. Stay in the same place. End up hooking about the same overall, but certainly much quicker. I think and that's what I would expect, the solid cover of the TX16 versus the Pearl version. The pin up gave it a little length and kind of balanced it out a little, but in general, we'll go ahead and throw this one slow and we'll see what it looks like there. Throw it slow and rotate it like I did the Journey. Well, that's surprising. So Phaze 2 is actually a little bit earlier. He ended up being a little bit lazier down lane, plus a little more energy. So that's where the Pearl comes in handy, is when there's a little bit more friction in the front, and that's basically what that shot told me. Next, let's move on to the Zen Gold and see what it looks like. This one's a really tall pin. So this is a 5.5 inch pin for me, 5.5 by 6 by about 1.5. Again, I'll stand in the same spot so we can look and get a comparison. And that's also a little bit of what I expect. And that's when you know there's some friction in the front part of the lane, because that cover's cleaner than the Journey cover. And it came off of it a little bit harder. So it got maybe 2-3 feet further down the lane. And that's a combination of both the cover and that drilling pushing it down there. Let's move left, see what happens. I got in and long too, so I mean, so far what I've seen is this Journey actually hooks through the oil down lane a little better than some of the new ones, or some of the old standbys, I guess. And next we'll throw the ball that I think is closest to it, the Xponent. And this is a ball I've thrown a bunch already. Taller pin, just a little over 5 inches, 5 by 3 by 3. And again, we'll stand in the same spot and see what happens. A little cleaner to it, a little weaker. These are the closest two balls core-wise, for sure. Just so we haven't forgot what this one looks like, we'll go ahead and throw the Journey now. So a little stronger shape off that same break point as the Xponent. These two look pretty similar going down the lane. Journey's a little prettier for sure. Move left, little rotation, see what happens. Xponent rolled off of it. These two can be a little 1-2 punch off each other. TX16 is probably a little bit stronger cover overall. Throw the Journey from that same spot. Definitely stronger off that spot there. So now if I was going to put an arsenal together where this ball fits, it's going to be a little stronger than the Zen Gold. I think it's going to be slightly cleaner than a Phaze 2 and a little bit earlier overall than an Xponent. So if you really like that core, you could go with a Gem or Reality at the top of your bag, Eternity Pi, a Blackout with a little surface fit up in that spot, maybe a clone, and then you get down into, you could even go with that Journey in here, possibly break the cover just a little bit, and then down off of that, a Zen Gold. You got an Xponent. Those balls are going to fit underneath. The Phaze 2 slightly above, but this latest collab from Belmos, I think they got a pretty good one here. I think you're going to see it a lot come January by the man himself. So this one's coming out in mid-November, and you'll be able to pick yours up then. The Storm Journey, I think we got a good one.